This is what insanity looks like, just so you know, when you're completely delusional. This is what it looks like.
Does Trudeau have the full support of his cabinet to stay on as Prime Minister?
Yes.
I'm Jasmine Lane. This is Over Opinionated. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Apparently, Bill C-63 is nearing its second reading in the House. Sure, they may have split it up, but they were very clear that they plan to implement every single portion of it. And with that, that would mean that exactly what we do here on this channel would be deemed hate speech in Canada. Therefore, it would be blocked and removed because censorship. I tell ya, communists, they do not like dissenting voices one bit. And speaking of dissenting voices, Kevin O'Leary has been very loud with his, and while I'm still not over that whole boating incident that I think his wife got off a little too scot-free on, I can certainly appreciate what he has to say about Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and just how uncomfortable the truth he shared made this CBC news anchor. Like the video, comment your thoughts down below.
Okay, let's start with your take here. You've been a vocal critic of Justin Trudeau as a Canadian entrepreneur. What do you make of the fallout here over the departure of Chrystia Freeland?
First of all, Freeland is the worst finance minister Canada's ever had because she's never run a financial institution. She started as a journalist. I'm sure she's a nice person, but that budget she just delivered gives you an idea of how incompetent she is. It's good she's gone, but she's not the real problem. It's Trudeau. I don't know if you've looked at any number you'd like to measure in the last 9 years. GDP per capita, capital flows out of Canada, the growth of the Canadian economy stalled out, the deficit, just this last horrific budget. I mean, I don't recall in my professional life seeing a collapse like this. That's why the Canadian dollar is in free fall. It's Justin Trudeau and his policies.
It has been really interesting to see so many people from the Liberal Party, which if you had any hope for any of them, I think you can kind of erase that now because so many have been speaking publicly about how Chrystia Freeland is amazing and she's the best and she did such an excellent job. Did she? Because the Canadian dollar has officially hit the same rate that it was at during the pandemic. In fact, since January, it's dropped by 7.46%. That is horrible. That's horrible for consumers. It's horrible for people who are traveling. It's horrible for our trade. That is so astronomically bad. And then to top it off, they release a $62 billion deficit, which to Chrystia Freeland's credit, she said that she was not happy with, and she had tried to push back against Justin Trudeau and Mark Carney several times. And that is why she ended up losing her job because she told the narcissist no. But even that deficit, she had a $40 billion guardrail. $40 billion. And yet we're sending, multi-billions to other countries who hate us in foreign aid. That doesn't really make any sense at all. Now, does it? And to top it off, that deficit went from 40 billion to 62 billion with no signs of slowing down whatsoever.
Now, the Canadian people pay the price, and it's just horrific what's happening to the country. Unbelievable mess.
Okay, it's embattled at home, mocked abroad. Kevin, Trudeau and Canada now becoming the target of U.S. President Donald Trump's roasts here. How does Canada manage this relationship with what is an unpredictable U.S. leader?
Well, let's talk about why this is happening to Trudeau and why he is embarrassing Canada so much. As you recall in Trump's first mandate, both Freeland and Trudeau bashed Trump almost every day they could.
They didn't just bash him. They insulted and bashed conservatives galore. They bashed and insulted the vast majority of the American public, with Trudeau going on stage 2 weeks ago, last week, talking about how he's such a great feminist and how the United States failed because they didn't elect Kamala Harris, which is just outrageous, and again, bashing Trump. Like, Trudeau is a little boy who cannot for the life of him hold himself back and keep composure because his ego has just taken complete control over any form of rational thinking or decision making. So you go and make fun of this guy and coin the term the maple syrup megas, which is actually very funny and I like it. But you go and do all of that during the entire election campaign cycle, whatever. And then he ends up winning and you're like, oh, crap. how do we get ourselves out of, I don't know how to do this. And then you still have people on the Liberal team making fun of Donald Trump. Like, what a dumb thing to do. That is so stupid to do right now. No wonder why Donald Trump doesn't like you, because you have been a bully and you are a liar and you are condescending and you are manipulative. Like, it's just everything about the character of some of these people is just so abhorrent and gross. And it's not a way how anybody should behave, let alone a politician.
Thinking he would never come into power. He is a relationship guy. He doesn't respect or like Trudeau. He's said so much in the last 2 or 3 days, as well as Freeland, who he despises from NAFTA 2 negotiations. She's gone.
O'Leary goes on to say how obviously Donald Trump just wants to get rid of Justin Trudeau, and I don't blame him. He has said himself how Justin Trudeau is awful to negotiate with, how he's two-faced. He has spoken at length about the damage and horrors that our government has done to Canadian people, and he's right. He's absolutely right. But the leftist Liberal Party has zero accountability, zero self-awareness, and that's exactly why they are in the position that they are right now. If you ever needed an example of just how delusional they are, all you got to do is see this.
I honestly think that the Conservatives who wanted to capitulate to Mr. Trump the first time through, Mr. Poilievre gets squished like a bug. I'm sorry to say that, but I do not think that he would fare very well at all against somebody like Donald Trump.
I think the Americans would be quite happy to see someone else than Mr. Trudeau, because he knows how to fight, he knows how to stand up for Canadians. All we've ever seen from Pierre Poilievre, which is the alternative, is someone that speaks in rhymes and hasn't done anything in his 20 years in Parliament other than secure his own pension.
Does Trudeau have the full support of his cabinet to stay on as Prime Minister?
Yes.
Simple yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trudeau's going to be gone one way or another, and that's a very good thing for Canada, where they don't even let us in anymore without a visa. Trudeau has done unbelievable damage to Canada over the last 9 years. Every Canadian has almost a moral obligation, regardless of where they come from or what their religion is or what party they're associated with, to get rid of this man.
And, there's a clip that I shared in my previous 2 videos of Pierre Poilievre discussing how people will say, oh, well, Justin Trudeau spent X amount of dollars on this and that and blah, blah, blah. And Poilievre put it so clearly, like, it doesn't matter how much money you spend in a new department, in new bureaucracy, in new BS. What is the end result? And it's something that I ask people all the time, and more often than not, they just deflect and insult me. Classic. But I always say, why are we in a situation where we need all of these programs? Why are seniors who spent their entire lives contributing to taxes, working hard for their money, why are they in a position where they have so little that they need government help? These are people who contributed their entire lives. And for what? Because they clearly have not been able to reap the reward of their hard work, that dream, that promise that all of us had. You can't enjoy retirement, can you? When you are struggling so bad due to the policies of this government who put you in this place solely to then go, oh, well, we're going to be your savior. We're your false prophet. Here, we're going to keep screwing up the financial situation, because then if we do enough and you guys are weak enough and you have no hope left, you won't need to look to anybody or anything else. You will be pushed so deep inside of that hole that all you will have is us. Again, communism, that's how that works. That's how it is in North Korea right now, and that's not how it started in North Korea, but that is always the end goal. So ask yourself, why are we in this place to begin with? And do you want to stay here? Really? Are all of the extra programs worth it? The niche programs that you likely don't even benefit from, would it not be more worth it to make good money, to work hard and see the reward, to thrive and to prosper as a nation? Is that not more worth it than wanting to keep the Liberals in power because you're scared the Conservatives are going to cut programs that people should have never needed in the first place and that people continue to need more and more because we have to fund those programs, and because our economy keeps sinking deeper and deeper. That's why we need stuff like that, okay? So it would make a hell of a lot more sense, in my opinion, to get rid and make the cuts so that we can start building a prosperous society again. Because how things are right now should not be the norm. We should not be okay with this being the norm. This isn't normal. This isn't how people are supposed to live. But it's become normal, and it's become something that people who don't think deeper about it defend and want because it seems good. Compassion, it seems good at first. Virtue signaling, I'm very virtuous, so I support the Liberals because I support $10 a day childcare, and I support, the national dental program and the school food. You want your kids to go hungry? No, what I want is for the government to not be the only one who's feeding my kids because I can't afford to because I've given all my money to the government. Like, is that so hard for people to realize? And it doesn't have to be like this. It really doesn't. Might take a little while to bounce back, but it does not have to be like this forever. So think about the long term. What is more worth it to you? I'm Jasmine Lane. This is Over Opinionated. Comment your thoughts down below and like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
He is damaging the country, and I can't wait personally. I do everything I can every day. I broadcast all over the world talking about how weak he is as a leader and how important it is he must go. I'm doing my part. Every Canadian should ask themselves, what are we doing to get rid of this guy?